Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so sorry that I'm late by like about 6 minutes. I'm so sorry. So, how are you all doing? And how's this chapter going on? We are currently doing report writing right now. How is it going for you? Is it? I feel some of you have joined. There's still many more to join. There's just few kids who joined. Okay, I see. More of you have joined. Great. So, I believe everyone is joining one by one. In the meantime, if there is any problem related to the last lecture that we did on report writing, you can ask me now. Any questions, any sort of questions that you have, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll start with today's lecture.
Recording
Any
in
questions,
progress.
any kind of question? Himanshu, I think all the chapters are done. This is the last chapter that we're doing. Formal report today. What formal report are we talking about here? Oh, yes, we will be. We will talk about the financial reports, formal reports, the magazine reports. We will be discussing each and every one by one. Anything else that you want to ask? It's done, I believe. Last chapter meeting is already done, and yeah, that's what I know. And the lectures are available on the YouTube. So in case there is any confusion, you can always look at the videos that is always available. Sagar, no for. Okay, anyway, if there is any confusion about the lectures, please go through the Junaid, I'm already taking the doubts right now. Why do you need a doubts class? Junaid, the only way to reach out to me is through the ICI thing. Probably you can write it to them. If there is any problem, I think they'll get in touch with me. And there shouldn't be any doubt because I think I spent about 15-20 minutes in every class asking about doubts all the time. But still, if there is any, you can always write it to whomsoever you talk to in the organization, or you can for a generic ID, you can send it the query there. That will reach to us. And okay, Himanshu, if it is not done, I think it will be organized. And even if it is not organized, these chapters are already available on the ICI page, on the YouTube. All the subject or topics are already available. You could actually go back and look at those videos too. I mean, like, there are all the videos from all the sessions taken previously. So you can actually watch a lot of videos that are available on the ICI page anyway. Okay, let's start. Let me share the screen. Okay, so in the previous class, we had discussed about the newspaper and the magazine reports and their formats. Now, I don't know why you all are asking for formal reports. We had already discussed their formats. So there are two types of formal reports that you can follow. But for there's no specific and hard and fast format for any official or formal report, because every organization may have their own way of presenting the reports. Am I clear? So we had discussed these two. Format number one, in which you basically write down the heading, then you write about to whom you have been presenting this, from whom, date, subject line, introduction, give detail of the task, reasons for it, main body, information. So these categories look really extensive to you right now, but when you start actually making the report for something, these things are mandatory for any official report. Am I clear? You will be talking about that, why you're talking about this, what are the details about this, results, conclusion, your evaluation, your suggestion. You will be doing all of that now. Hello? Yeah. So these topics or these headings seem a bit extensive right now, but it is not very extensive. Now, when you start writing the reports, these are all the essential details that needs to be added. Now, next comes the format number two, which has that you have a title page. You basically write down to, from, date of submission, acknowledgement. Then you have table of content, you have summary, you have introduction, finding, conclusion, recommendations, bibliography. These are two ways of presenting the formal report. This is the format of formal report. But then, having said that, there is still not any specific or fixed format that anybody needs to follow, because every organization may have their own style of writing. Are we clear? Any problems that anybody has? Now, what does official or formal reports include? It can be the company's annual reports. It could be about audit reports. It could be financial reports. It could be about the progress of any project that you need to share the information about. Anything that is kind of reporting that what is the status of a thing, how, what all things were done, what is left, what resources were used, what is not used, what is the hindrances. All of this is part of report writing, because you're basically reporting something, the facts and what is happening. You are not talking about what you feel about something. Are we clear? Now comes the points to remember. I think we had discussed this in the last class, but I'm just repeating myself again, because at times reinforcement is the best to remember the things. Now, all reports are objective. Now, what do you mean by objective? What do you mean by objective? You know, objective is basically when you are not influenced by any fact or anything else. You are basically presenting something which is without any personal prejudice or personal biasness, right? So you are basically presenting something. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. So the other thing is that you have to keep in mind the target audience and the structure or your report accordingly, because you have to. Yeah, I know. Sorry, because I was sharing the screen, and when I flipped, it could you could see the query sheet also. I'm so sorry. So the other thing is that there is no personal opinion, there's no perception, there's no feeling in the report. I always say that, right? It is not the article writing. Even if you're writing an article writing, you cannot be so personally inclined towards what you feel, right? There also you have to place your judgments according to the evidences or according to your research. But here in this case, you are supposed to be away from any kind of emotions and opinions or anything. Nothing. No suggestions, no recommendations, because this is totally presentation of what happened. Right. Next is, keep in mind that the target audience and the structure your report accordingly. You have to keep in mind that who your target audience is, and then you have to structure your report accordingly. Right. uh, this is needless to say, this goes along with all the kinds of writing skills. You need to know your target audience. For whom are you writing this? Like, for example, I said that if you're writing about a report of a annual day, right? you know who your target audience is, right? Not anybody is going to read about it. Not everybody is going to read about it. So there has to be a particular platform also where you publish it. You can't publish it everywhere, right? Next is personal pronouns in first and second person. We generally don't use I, we, us, you, nothing, because it is done in a very passive voice format. I'm sure you understand what active voice and passive voice is. You've already done that in chapter number 2. So in newspapers and in magazines, people generally prefer passive voice. And where do we prefer active voice? I mean, other than official reports, where do we say, where did you study? Where do people use active voice and why do they use active voice? Where do people use active voice? Zeba, you do not understand my question. My question to you is, where do we use active voice? I never asked what is the difference and which is better. For newspaper formats and for you guys are answering to the wrong questions. I'm asking you something else. I'm not asking you what active voice is. Okay. Active voice is used, when you're communicating with somebody, when you're talking to somebody, and you're writing an email also. So you tend to write in active voice, right? So that you have a clarity. But in report, you are reporting something, right? This was done, right? You prefer to use passive voice, right? Because you can't use personal or second person pronouns. So people generally prefer to write. That does not mean that it is a hard and fast rule that you have to use passive, but it is preferred and it is more appropriate. Are we clear? Past tense is mostly used in report writing, since of course we are reporting something that is already done. This is needless to be explained. The language should be clear, concise, and to the point. Long-winded sentences, vague information, irrelevant material must be avoided. This is again, like for example, I want you to understand that these points to remember that we do it for every chapter is more or less same, because the idea is same, right? We want you to write clearly, concisely, stick to the point. Then only any kind of a writing skill looks crisp and good and interesting to read, right? So long winding sentences, I always say and I always recommend, do not use long sentences, because long sentences are often confusing. It often confuses the writer too. You at times don't understand yourself what you are writing and what you actually meant. Vague information. Don't give information that is not required. That is not even part of what you're talking. Right? It confuses people. It confuses the readers. It tells that it just informs vague things. Technical jargon and subject-specific terminology must be avoided, as it would be difficult for everyone to understand. If including such terminology is necessary, add a glossary for it. Now, if you're using some words which is necessary as per your report, and you understand that not everybody is going to understand this word, then you should always add a glossary. You know what glossary is? It used to be at the end of your some books also, some library books also. Glossary is basically when you give a word list with the meaning, different words used. Next is logical and coherent. That is again needless to explain it to you. A poorly structured report would not make sense to the reader. Now, it should not have grammatical errors. It is a good idea to get it proofread for accuracy. Now, it is very important. Again, your writing skills should be grammatically error-free. Now, this is not only for your exams. It is also when you are actually writing these reports. You cannot afford to have grammatical errors because one, that is going to affect the meaning of what you have written. Second, it creates such a bad impression that you do not know the language so well. Third, it will, at the end of the day, you will be losing your readers because of that. Next, it says it's a good idea to get it proofread for accuracy. You should always get someone to read what you've written because the other person can give you a third-person perspective and can find mistakes very easily. At times, what happens is when we are working and we are reading something again and again, it's difficult to spot errors after some time. But if you tell somebody else to read it, then you have a third-person perspective. Are we clear? Any problems? All of this is we have done. Now let's talk about the sample newspaper reports that we did yesterday too, which has a title, then there is a by author's name, then there's a place, and then there's a date in the format. Can you see that? Daughter of Gardener tops board exams is the heading. By Riya Sharma is the author. Then it comes to Bhubaneswar and May 12th. That is the place and the date that I'm going to talk to you about this. Quickly start reading this side by side. Okay, read. Observe how the paragraphs are divided, what all is mentioned in each paragraph, look at the sentence structures here, and look at how, in a short way, it has already explained about it. So we are basically informing about somebody's result. Okay, so this was about the newspaper report because we are talking about something that has just happened. We are discussing about somebody's result. So we are talking about her, that girl, about everything about her, like everything related to her results. Now, this is another way of newspaper format wherein the by is TNN, the one who has published it, then there is a date, and the city place is written under that line. Now, this comes the magazine report. Now, magazine report is really pretty easy to understand. Just the title, by, and then you start. Are we clear? Now comes the financial report. But before we start with the financial reports, I want you to do one exercise of uh, magazine report writing. Okay, do the first one, which is your institute global business school organized a seminar on profitable business practices in the next decade. Write a report for the on the seminar for your institute monthly newsletter in about 150 to 200 words. Research about how Wi-Fi seminar is conducted and how profitable business practices. Now, I want you to quickly do this topic. Give me a heading, then a by, and then you start with the report. Just write a short one, 50 words. That's it. Now, in this case, in an event, what all things will you write in your report writing? What all things you will be informing? Yeah, because I've removed it. It's a first question from your practice exercise from your study material. The first question or practice exercise. Can we start discussing now? Timer, we're doing report writing. Okay, look here. Yes, Kunjan, next. I'm still waiting, guys. Be quick. Yes, Saima, you're supposed to do the first question of practice exercises. Good, Manvi. It's a very good attempt. Only Manvi has sent it till now. It's a magazine report. You don't need to put the date, Surya. Good, Surya. See, before you write, you need to see about who all are attending your function. How many of people will be willing to know about this seminar thing? Okay, and how many speakers are coming? What is the topic? What is the venue? Then you specify designations of speakers. You need to talk about who's external speaker and who's the expert from the industry. So basically, you have to specify who all are coming. Then you have to talk about now your designated audience will be top heads, faculties, and students. So you want to know that nobody else was going to read it. Then comes the highlight that needs to be then you can talk about what each speaker did, what each speaker presented, and what each speaker spoke about it. That's what report writing is because you will be talking about them directly. Then there is going to be question answers. Lastly, you give a thanks also if required to whomsoever you want to. Say thank you to the management, top bosses, or anyone. Are we clear? Now, should we move on to the formal reports, everyone? Okay. So now, before I start with formal report writing, let me just brief you again about the report writing. Now, report writing is usually written with a lot of analysis. You would know that an analysis has to be done about what you have seen and what you will be including in the report writing. Now, there has to be a flow. It starts from introduction, then there's body, then there's conclusion, there is some summary too. Now, the layout has to be very crisp. It has to be properly numbered, properly, there needs to be proper numbering of things, proper subheadings, proper, bullets that needs to be added for the points. Now, that makes your uh, report writing more friendly. I mean, like any person can understand if it is done so nicely. All your facts and information that you basically know has to be by street. You don't. You. I mean, you just had to be 100% correct before publishing something. Proofreading and fact checking is always you do as thumb rule. It is submitting before submitting a report. Now, even if you write a question paper in a book, you read it so many times, right? And then you submit your paper. Similarly, imagine that you're writing a report for a newspaper. It has to be super accurate. Accurate. Any problem so far? Okay. Now let's see here. I want to just show you the one sample. Now look at the first format, which is about to, from, date, subject. Like, of course, one person is who's making the report is going to submit it, right? Show it to someone at least. So from is to whom you're writing, from where, what is your destination, and this from to is who's going to get it eventually. Then date, and then there is subject, which is cleaning the Ganga River. Then there's acknowledgement and content later on. See, this is how your format starts. You first acknowledge. In the books also you see there's an acknowledgement page. So you need to first acknowledge that who helped you and how did you come to this topic, or who's your inspiration. I mean, anything. Then comes the content, which is introduction, causes, effects, solutions, conclusion, and bibliography. Okay, now here, if you see, the content has to be there. There has to be a separate page which specifies a number also. The introduction is on this page, causes is on this page, effects is on that page. Now it's the same question. See how it has been divided. They come summary first. The summary is about what this report is all about. Now, this one is on national river. The Ganga remains one of the most polluted in the world, denying vast population of their rights to clean water. Then there's an introduction. Now, what is the difference between summary and introduction? Read both the paragraphs and tell me what is the difference. Summary and India introduction. And national. Now, what are the causes? But first, you have to explain between both the paragraphs. What difference do you see? Summary and introduction. Okay, think about it. Think about very carefully what is the difference between summary and introduction. I'm going to join you back in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to join in 5 minutes. In the meantime, I want you to think about what is the difference between introduction and summary. Okay. Now, see here, summary is our national river, the Ganga, remains one of the most polluted in the world, denying vast populations of their rights to clean water. The problems associated with population of Ganga are numerous. It has multiple causes related to the issue. The contamination of water affects humans, flora and fauna, as well as the ecology of areas along with the river. However, there are solution remedies that can be implemented to save the dying river. Now, it says that this entire report is about that it is polluted and how it is affecting the entire ecological system of the. Now, sorry, look at the first thing first, which is Ganga River Cleaning Project. So now this project is about Ganga Cleaning Project. It is written by the Mr. Sunil Gupta, which is the Joint Secretary of Ministry of Environment. Now, this is the official report that is submitted in the same department. Now, he is in Ministry of Environment. He is writing it to, now he's been written to, and who's writing it? The research officer, the one who's been researching. Now, the date when this report is written. Okay, then comes the subject line. Subject line is basically the cleaning of Ganga River. Acknowledgement. I am deeply grateful to all people who extended their invaluable help and support in the research and writing of the report. I wish to especially thank Mr. Sushil Dhar, Mr. Premnath Singh, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, Mr. Pramod Bansal. Right now, this is the acknowledgement to whom you want to thank people who helped you in doing this project. Clear? Now, after this, you start with your content. So basically, this project report includes introduction, causes, effects, solutions, conclusions, and bibliography. Then you start with the summary for that what this project report is about. Now look at the introduction, which says, the river Ganga is often referred to as the dying river due to its continuing pollution for decades. This report attempts to state the current situation and the damage to the environment and ecosystem being caused by pollution of the river. Several solutions to clean the river have been suggested to restore the river into its pristine state. Now, here, this is the introduction that mainly we will be talking about the suggestive measures that we can take about for the restoration of the river. Now, it discusses the causes. Now, these are the list of causes that they've given. According to them, this is the list of causes that why Ganga is being polluted, how it is polluted, right? What kind of pollution, what kind of a waste is polluting the river, right? If given the 7 pointers, then it talks about the, also talks about the effect. I'm so sorry, I'm just putting the charger also side by side. I'm explaining you, but I am also putting up my charger side by side. So I'm just going to put off my camera for like a minute. Then comes the effect. So basically it is talking about the effect of that if the river is polluted, what is the effect, how it is affecting us while polluting the river with the pollution, how it is affecting. Now look at the reasons that is being given here. Okay, so this is the reasons that has been given. Sir, I have off because I'm just putting up the charger of my camera. Yeah. Right. So we were talking about the effects, and then we are talking about this thing. So it also explains you about that how it is affecting us. Then it talks about the solutions. Then it is also talking about, now we have talked about the cause, we've spoken about the effect, we are also talking about the solutions. If you look at this content, so basically in the project report they are including the introduction part, the causes part, the effects part, and the solutions part, right? It is going in the sequence. So it's easier for somebody who is reading your report, because the idea of writing this report is to find a solution, right? The official reports are basically submitted because you're looking for some kind of a solution for something, right? You are talking about something that is concerning you, right? This is why you write project reports. Now, in this case, unlike when you are writing for newspapers, when you're writing for magazines, you are just reporting any incident, right? Something that has happened, right? Any event that has happened. Unlike official reports, because the official reports can aim on bringing some change. It can be about talking about something that bothers you, something that is part of your research, something that is part of your project that has been given to you, right? Then comes the introduction part, causes part, effects part, solution part, right? Now let's talk about, then comes the conclusion. Now the solutions have been given here. Several steps can be taken to help prevent water pollution from getting worse. So several solutions have also been given, that what all one can do to save, like what all as a government or as ministry, what all things we can implement so that the Ganga is saved from the pollution. After this, it talks about the conclusion. Having said all of that, it talks conclusion. Cleaning Ganga River is feasible and possible project. It requires strict implementation of policies formulated by government, involvement of stakeholders, involving general population at every level. So basically, it's just concluding that it is just not a one person who can do this. It has to be a collective effort. Now, next comes the bibliography. Now, what is bibliography? Now, bibliography is basically the references from where you have taken, and there is a way of putting up the bibliography, right? In bibliography, you add the, if you have picked up any research from any article, from any book, from any author, so you basically need to specify the entire details. Now, for example, look at the third number, which is a water hub retrieved 14 May 2015. So this has been picked up from the Water Hub. Now, Water Hub is either a book or the article's title, right? Then there is a book also. There's an author's name. Look at the number 5. It's Wall LNE, which is the author's name. 2012 is the year of publishment. Then that is a book's name. A World of Rivers. And Chicago, University of Chicago Press is the publication's name, publisher's name, right? So when you submit something, of course, you submit it after research. So in terms of official reports, one needs to basically specify from where all you picked up everything. Are we clear? Any problems, any doubts so far? Do we understand what formal reports are? Any problem that anybody is facing? Don't worry, I'm looking up because I'm looking up at my another system for the queries. Okay, you say clear, clear, clear. Now, what are financial reports? Look at this one now. If there is any no problem, then I'll move on to the financial reports one. Okay. Okay. Now this is financial report. Uh, Again, like we specify, there is no specific format for anything, right? Unless you are talking about the newspaper report and magazine report. Now, financial reports are a very long and complicated with complex data and figures. A short report is being given as an example. This is just an example, that's small one, but usually financial reports are really big. Okay. If I'm not wrong, these companies, they they release their financial reports to be sent to their stakeholders to give them about it, how the company has done during the year, how the profits have been and how the losses have been or whatever. So now this one is Nova Pharmaceutical announces 2017 first quarter results. See, quarterly the results are released for the big companies. Now the place is given to you. There's a subheading which is reports of quarter one revenue of so and so, net income of this. Now in one liner they have explained that this is have been a revenue and this has been our net income. Now following is the report and the calculations and how all of this happened. Now if you see, financial reports has a lot of numbers, like a lot of numbers, right? Probably you guys who are expiring CS can understand this. I hardly can understand financial reports. So this is the first quarter summary that first they are talking about briefly, that this was the total revenue, and the session, the 3 months ended on so and so date, and this was the revenue, and compared to, and you also basically compare your financial reports from the previous years, parallel previous year. So if I'm comparing from January, February, March is my quarter. If and in India we have the last quarter. Yeah, it's part of the last quarter. So I'm going to compare the January to March from previous year, January to March, how my company performed, right? Then it adjusted so and so such and such a thing, which decreased to this. And it basically, again, one liner, it is explaining things about. Then there is a net income, that what was the net income, what was the investment, what all of that happened. Okay, then there is a first quarter financial report. Like, look at this table that has been made. Do you understand anything? It is in this entire table, it has explained about what was the sales, what was the gross margin, what was the revenue, what was the operating expenses, because of course, because you will be calculating all of these things, not to understand what you have earned, you will be also considering what are your expenses too, right? Am I right? Okay, somebody had asked me what EBITDA is. I actually had to Google it myself, and it's a very technical term which I expect you guys should know at least. This is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Okay, some again financial term. The head is being considered when you basically calculate your net income. Okay, so this is what it is about. Then if you see in each paragraph, it is comparing everything. What was the total revenue this year and last year? Then what was the total operating cost this March or last March? And if there is a decrease, then there is an explanation. If there's an increase, there's an explanation. Then there is an R&D expenses, and there's G&A expenses. And then it is talking about the company also earned interest income. So basically everything, whatever is included in finances, whatever is included as part of the financial calculation, everything is explained in the report in words, basically. Right? So you basically put that into sentences, the way you're explaining it to somebody, and you have to explain each and everything, how it has been calculated and how it has been affected. If there is an increment, good for you, explain. If there is any depreciation, explain again. Right? Because you would be explaining it to your bosses, you will be explaining it to your stakeholders. So this is released. And if I am not wrong, I have to check this, but these financial reports with companies, when they're huge, they publish it in newspapers also. When they're like very big, very, very big, extremely. Otherwise, it is sent to everybody personally. Are we clear? Are we clear about the financial reports also now? All right, so explanation part was this, that was it. Now you have to tell me if there is any problem that you want me to. Okay, there are a lot of questions. Let me read one by one. Zeba, you say, is there any sample report of Lakshita? I don't get your question. One. Second, what is sample report of bibliography? Bibliography is basically the references that you have taken from any article, any report, or any book. You just need to mention that, I have come to this conclusion reading all of this. Right? Now, for example, if I'm talking about Ganga and the pollution and everything, maybe I'm wrong when I am judging things. I would like to research about it and see what other people have to say, what other environmentalists have to say. So if I am agreeing to someone and I'm picking up their reference also, I'm putting it in my report also, I'm supposed to give a reference as, I picked it up from here, right? Or so and so person also believes in the same thing. I'm sure, Ishan, it includes PL, and balance sheet as well. Saima, are you talking about that when the reporter is reporting in the live on TV shows? That's what you're asking me? Are you asking about the same reporting when they're reporting on TV live? First answer me yes or no, then I'll explain you this. Bhumika. Financial related financial. Yes, that's true. Sam, I just told you, earning before interest, P was something, depreciation, amortization. Interest. No, what was T for? T stood for something. Yeah, tax. Simon, no. If you've heard them very carefully, they start also with the place also. That, if they say, my colleague is in Bombay right now, reporting live from there, right? So they start from that, and then of course they have a specific format. When they say sign off, they of course take their name and then the place from where they're reporting. So everything has a format. We are not discussing about the format on the TV shows. We are discussing about how it is published in newspapers and in magazines. All right. Any problem, guys? Any problem? Anyone? Okay. Without looking into your study materials and without looking here and there, quickly tell me how many steps are there in writing the report writing. In the process of report writing, what are the steps and how many are there? And if you can just tell me all the steps right away within 1 minute, good for you. Tell me. Tell me quickly. Simon, you will be given something very basic, nothing this extensive. You just need to know how financial reports are written. And then you guys are attempting for and aspiring to see. I'm sure it is interesting for you to see how financial reports are written. 7 steps. Quickly tell me what all are the steps in writing report. Kunjan? Oh, okay, okay. You're supposed to tell the steps of report writing in general, not sample, or not about formal report writing. Second, whatever you have told me, it is not the steps. Those are the, the content or the content of the formal writing. You are supposed to mention all of that. Okay, good Manvi, good Jia, good Lakshita. No, Lakshita, your first two, 3 points are wrong. Anybody else who would like to try? You are supposed to write in sequence. Okay, now I want you to do a question now. Just read the question because I will stop sharing the screen. Because when I share the screen, I can't see your comments very easily. So you read the question very carefully and then you start writing the answer. So the question will be, okay, question number 7. Prepare an official report discussing the poor drainage system in your neighborhood, the adverse effect of incessant rivers, rains as a result. The report needs to be submitted to municipal authorities of the concerned area. Now, this is the official report. You just have to tell the same things almost. Look at the question. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Tell me what will be the format that you will follow and how you will be writing about it. Okay, I'm going to stop the screen sharing so that I can see your comments. I hope you've started writing. Yes, yes, Saima, that's right. Okay, start. Okay. Just tell me the content. What all will you write in this official report? Prompt to subject, acknowledgement, contents, date. Do not write any emotional report. You're not supposed to be emotional. Okay, tell me the content that you will be mentioning. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Right. So in here also you will be talking about introduction, you will be talking about the causes, then what is the effect, then you will talk about solutions and conclusion. That's right. That's how it is supposed to be again. And then bibliography. Are we clear? Any problem so far? All right, now look here. Okay, I just want to quickly summarize about report writing to you very briefly. Okay, But before that, you tell me what you understand by report writing. What did you understand about report writing? What have you guys understood about report writing? If you see, report writing is actually easier than any of the writing skills, because in this one you are not basically, you don't have to think about anything. You if you feel, if you're recovering any topic, you just need to observe the topic and write about it. What have you understood about report writing, and how is it different from article writing? Wait, guys, I'm waiting. I just need to summarize few things. Describing about an event, okay? Yes, of course, it is formal. It is a formal piece of writing. Good, Disha. Who else? Report writing is just like, and oh yes, there was something that I came across on internet. I just thought that I should explain it to you as well. That people often confuse essay writing and report writing together, because it is kind of an essay that you're writing. Because you're writing an essay about a topic, you're just explaining about a topic. But yet, it is still not an essay writing. It is not, can be simply be called as essay writing. Okay, because in essay, you can express your opinion, but here, no opinions, only the facts. You need to have a specific audience. I'm just reinforcing now. You need to have a specific audience. The report concerns itself to only certain set of people related. Structure has to be very crisp and clean, using pointers, numbered headings, and subheadings. Like, for example, for official, we have these solutions, effects, causes. You should have these subheadings. It makes your report even better to understand. Right? Use tables, graphs, charts to prove your point. A report often needs a quick summary addressing highlighting point. A report usually needs a summarized paragraph that summarizes all the points. and it has a pre-designed layouts that you need to follow. Right, so this was about the report writing. If there is any confusion, please ask me. Now I'm going to take a 10 minutes of uh, doubt session. Any doubt session that you have from all the chapters that I have taught you so far. Today is my last class with you. So you can ask me whatever you want. There was someone who told me that if she has a problem with Prezi writing. Quickly, guys, any problem, think about it, go flip through the papers, and then ask any question. Sagar, if you're trying to put it this way, in article, you can choose the topic whatever you want to. In report writing, report writing is done on the immediate basis. It is not done after like a year or so. If any incident is being reported, otherwise you can just pick a topic and then write whenever you want to. For example, like cleaning of river. Now, this is not something that is a one-day thing. It's happening for years. So you can pick up any topic and write. Summary is when you summarize the points or, all the main highlighted points. Introduction is when you are giving a start to what is going to be there ahead of it. So basically, you start the introduction, then you start adding the other topics to it. You first introduce your topic. You don't tell everything in an introduction, but summarizing is that you tell all the main points in summarizing. Grammatical error means no grammar mistake. Punctuations, capitalizations, wrong grammar. If it's not difficult, you will get a general topic only. For example, like cleaning of river. Yeah, it's so easy. You just have to think about the cause, effect, solution. Because all of this we've been doing in our social science and science exams also in school. Why is it difficult? Thank you, Ankit. If everything is crystal clear to you. Anybody else? Good, Bhumika. There's no problem. Summary is adding all the highlighted points. Conclusion is not necessary to have the summary of all the points. Conclusion is when you conclude by saying that what recommendations or what suggestions we need to take care of, or what all we can do ahead. Like conclusion is basically having said all your pointers, you come up with suggestion or recommendations in the end. That is conclusion. I think 4 5 marks. That's it. Please, for the marking scheme for everything, just go through the previous year's question paper. You will get an idea about how the questions are asked, how are they numbered. Rohan, there's no extra tips for it. There's no shortcut to it. But I understand that time is less now. I suggest you that if you have time, go through all the lectures again, all the videos again, and side by side, practice all the questions given in your study material and on the website available. You will have to do it and practice while writing. Don't read. Language is not by reading. You have to write and practice. Write even a small paragraph. Write. You should write something and read it yourself and find out your own mistakes. Right. So this is one thing that you should know. Don't just read the examples given. Don't just listen to what we are saying. You need to practice also. Start practicing. Also, half of the problems will be solved if you take care of your grammar, if you take care of your spelling errors, if you take care of your sentence structures, half of the problems will be taken care of. I know you have attended all the classes, but it's sometimes very difficult to retain everything, no? So when you go back, listen again, you kind of, reinforce few things that you understood at that time, but you may not remember right now. So reinforcement you should watch. Happy Diwali to you too, Bhumika. Happy Diwali. Any other problem, guys? Anything else that you want to ask me? I'm still waiting. I still have time. If this chapter is clear to you, please let me know. So I might say language paper. You cannot have 40 over 40. You cannot. So, but in case you aspire to get full marks, practice. Happy Diwali to you too, Diksha. Thank you, Jyoti, to you too. Lashra, then you can go through the lectures which are already available on the uh, on the YouTube. They all are done by the same faculty. They are anyway done by the same faculty, so you can actually listen to those lectures also. I don't know how do they score, because as English faculty, I don't believe anybody can be perfect with language. There is always a scope of being better. So if they are scoring 100 on 100, we actually feel there is a problem with the checking part. Not even the greatest of writers can be perfect. All right, everyone. So it was a great class. Thank you so much. You were the great students. All the very best for your exams. Do well, study well, go through your course, go through these lectures, and do well. All the best, and happy Diwali to you, everyone.